And there it is, gang. The Film 101 intro by yours truly and Lenny Kravitz. Yeah, thought I'd have him come by and play drums for me. But cha! Yes, good evening. Welcome to another Film Wednesday on HTLA Radio 1 in New York. Right now, 43 degrees in Central Park. Slightly overcast. No rain, no snow. Yes. Excellent. So, big Film Wednesday for us. We got got a Sundance Special for you here. I'm doing that right now. We got good old director Louis Lawless interviews coming up shortly. We got Real Talk with Kate Taylor this week, huh? Oh, yeah. She's actually hard at work right now. I can see her through the broadcast glass. Working on her Farmville 2. Yeah. No, seriously. She's hard at work on her show for tonight. Yes, she is. And with that, I need to add that you are listening to HTLA Radio 1 New York, and we can be found on the World Wide Web at HTLA973.com. You can check out all our many fine, a cornucopia, if you will, of fine broadcast entertainment. It's just sitting there waiting for you at the broadcast page. So look for that link at the top of the screen when you get over there and click on down and check them all out. Also, tonight's show is proudly brought to you by MXL microphones. Yes, the golden tones you're hearing right now are delivered through all MXL equipment here. Yes, we love MXL in our studio. We really do. Good quality stuff, and wow, some good prices out there too. So make sure you check them out. Yes, you want to check out MXL. Yes, this is your psychic. Yes, check out where great recordings begin. Yes. Also, our Film Wednesdays are also brought to you by Netflix. Yes, those lovely net guys who like to bring you flicks. You can check them out at netflix.com. So, I guess I better kick this sucker off. And how might I do that, you might ask yourself? How am I going to kick off the Film 101 Wednesday? Huh? How am I going to do that? Well, we're going to go Sundancing. Yes, we are. Yes, that great gift that Robert Redford once gave to us, we still have. Yes. So, get your cigarette holders and your berets and let's go to Utah, shall we? Yeah. All right. I'll drive, so you can just go to sleep. I'll wake you when we're there. Yeah, just kidding. But we are going to Sundance. Yes, we are. And it's right here for you now. Yeah, you can't see it because this is radio, but it's here. Going to be doing a couple of things. Going to give you your film festival guide to the 2014 festivities, commencing tomorrow. And also take you through some of the films here. Yeah. Afronauts. Look it up. You don't have to look it up. I'll tell you all about it. But first, to kind of kick off our Sundance 2014 tour, retrospective? No. Infographic? Well, kind of. We're going to look at some promising and not so promising numbers in independent film today. Yes, that's what we'll do. That's a good thing to do, Crash. Yeah. All right, I'll do that. Promising and not so promising numbers in independent film today. Well, with Sundance 2014 being only hours away, independent filmmakers, studios, and buyers are gearing up for yet another festival year of screenings. Yes, bidding, passing, as well as contemplation over the current state of independent cinema. Cultural Weekly Entertainment Media Partners CEO Adam Lepzig has released actually an in-depth infographic compelling some key data from Sundance, namely on spending, which analyzes how these numbers stack up against those of the major studios. Their findings, well, they're kind of a mixed bag of some encouraging stats and some very disheartening truths. So we're going to open up our our Film Wednesday with exactly that. Cultural Weekly and Leipzig decided to use Sundance as a representation of independent cinema as a whole because, with more than 4,000 feature-length films submitted every year, Sundance certainly represents a healthy sample of the industry, especially since the higher-profile films tend to be submitted to the festival itself. Leipzig says Sundance submission numbers represent a good statistical estimate of the most viable indie movies produced each year. The study collected data from top indie film producers, sales agents, acquisitions, indie financiers, and found several very interesting stats. For one, with an annual production budget of over $3 billion, the study found that independent film spending rivals that of major studios. What? Yes, it does. Well, granted, the average budget for an independent film was found to be around $750,000 per film, a number that was rounded down a little bit to be conservative. They also took a look at distribution and biggest sales, finding that thanks in part to streaming and digital platforms, more than half of the films screened at Sundance received distribution deals. Aha! Though figures also show that investors usually don't make such or anything on their investments less than 2% to be exact. Now, we're going to get into some of these numbers. We're going to start to break it all down for you and give you a kind of a clear definition and idea of what's going on. Shall we? Let's do that. All right. Well, let's look at, let's say the last 5 years, okay? Ooh, Sumatra coffee. Let's look from 2010 to today. Number of feature-length films submitted. Okay, so this is the total number of feature-length films submitted to Sundance over the last 5 years. In 2010, there was 3,724. In 2011, there was 3,812. Nice little increase there. In 2012, that number rose to 4,042. In 2013, last year, we saw 4,044. And this year, they saw a total of 4,057. Total number of feature-length films submitted. Now, to compare their short films category, in 2010 you were looking at 6,092. In 2011 you were looking at 6,467. 2012 saw 7,675. 2013, 8,102. And then, of course, this year, the total short films submitted was 8,161 short films. Wow. Well, what we're seeing here in both those categories is a constant increase. There hasn't been a drop anywhere in the last 5 years of total number of films submitted, or indeed shorts or feature length. So we can gauge, at least from that the industry is doing well, as it always does, and, should be no real surprise to anybody. Now, the total number of films that got in. This is always the fun part. Yeah, of those 3,724 films submitted in 2010, now this is feature length, only 113 were chosen. Not very good odds, gang. Then we go into 2011. Total number was 3,812 submitted. 118 feature length got in. That number dropped by 1 in 2012, where only 117 got in for a total of 4,042 submitted. Last year, it rose actually 2 films to 119 features at a total of 4,044 submitted. And this year, the magic 119 again for the 4,057 submitted. Feature length. Shorts. Okay, now keep in mind that the shorts numbers are almost double what the feature lengths are, because, of course, a lot more opportunity with shorts, isn't there? in 2010, of the total 6,092 submitted, a whopping 70 were actually added to the festival in 2010. 81 in 2011. Only 64 in 2012. Rose by 1 in 2013 to 65. And then this year, 66 shorts were accepted out of the 8,161 submitted. Yeah. So what are we looking at there? About 0.8% success rate on getting your film in there? Okay, so that's tough enough, but, we all understand. I mean, this year at Sundance, 119 features and 66 shorts, that's still one heck of a lot of content to have a festival around and actually get through, isn't it? Now, let's kind of look at the financial picture a little bit with all of this. 2010 through to 2014. Back in 2010, the feature films, total investment in all feature-length films submitted, $2.79 billion. Now, here's an interesting number. In 2010, investment in features that didn't get in, $2.7 billion, which means that, that $0.09 billion actually was money well spent as far as this particular festival is concerned. Now, investment in the features that got in 2010 total was $84.75 million. Okay, so that's for features. Yeah, really, really, damn, not good. Well, I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong, but we're actually going to be looking at some of these films here a little later on in the show. Going to be walking you through some of those excellent submissions that were actually approved on that really tiny, tiny sliver percentage of success you've got when you submit your film. And I hope you're kind of as aghast and taken aback as I am at some of the choices. Because Afronaut. Afronaut. Just remember that. Now, basically, since 2011, 2012, 2013, and this year, we're seeing numbers above $2.79 billion, gradually going up to $3.03 billion, $3.04 for this year in total investment in all feature-length films submitted. Investment in features that didn't get in on that $3.04 billion this year is a total of $2.95 billion. And then, of course, grand total of $89.25 was the investment in features that got in this year. And that's massive amounts of money, gang, isn't it? And it makes you wonder, well, geez, all the films that didn't get in, what about all that money? Is that just wasted? Is it gone? Is it all for naught? Well, no, fear not, because all of these filmmakers and all of these investors who are investing in those filmmakers and making these products, they don't just have Sundance. There's festivals all over the place, almost all the time, all around the world. But certainly for placement, certainly for distribution, and certainly to get your stuff seen, Sundance and Cannes would be your two best bets. Now, there's some other things, too, that you should really understand, too, because, if you've got something in the can and, you think it's festival-worthy, you could submit it, but then that could disqualify you from that, Academy Award run. Maybe you want to do that. Maybe you want to go for the awards, the accolades. Maybe you've done something cutting edge in your cinematography that nobody else has done before. Or maybe you've got the next big thing in an up-and-coming actor or actress, and you would rather play the Academy game than the festival game. It's probably a safe bet that shooting for the Academy route is going to be more successful for a product with something like that than just submitting it here and hoping and praying to the gods. Well, let's look at some other numbers here, shall we? Estimated number of people who worked on all feature films that got in. In 2010, that number was 11,300. Some increases and decreases, 200 or 300 plus or minus here and there, all the way up to 2014, where we're seeing 11,900. Okay, so those are the number of people who worked on the feature films that got in. Estimated number of people who worked on all feature films submitted, well, actually, is the higher 300,000s in 2010 and breaking the 400,000 mark. Well, they first broke the 400,000 mark in 2012, but 2014 here sees us with 405,700 people. Okay, so that's pretty big workforce out there, isn't it? All right, stay with me. Films sold for the most money versus box office. Ooh, this could be interesting. Okay, let's look at the biggest sales for 2010. That would be the title The Kids Are All Right, Focus Features, $4.8 million. That's what it sold for. U.S. theatrical box office sales for that year for that film, $20.8 million. Hey, profit. That's a good thing. Let's take a look at 2011. Actually saw two features. One of them, The Details, Weinstein Company, was acquired for $17.5 million, including the marketing commitment. Yeah. Unfortunately, U.S. theatrical release, it scored $63,000 in sales. Damn. Which brings us to our second film of 2011, Our Idiot Brother, who was probably the director of The Details. Again, the Weinstein Company, including marketing commitments, $21 million it was acquired for, and in the theaters, it grossed $24.8 million. Huh. Not bad. Okay. A whole lot better than The Details. At least we made a couple of bucks on it. Brings us up to 2012. The Sessions. Fox Searchlight. Pick that one up. $6 million. Let's see what they did over in the theatrical box office. Biggest sales for 2012, shall we? Oh, $6 million. Interesting. It made what it was sold for. Broke even. Yes, it did. Now we'll look in 2013. Again, there was two titles. That way back, Fox Searchlight again, acquired for $9.75 million. Did $21.5 in theaters. Not too bad. Good showing. Yeah, tripled the money. Everybody's happy. Don John, Relativity Media, scored for $29 million, including marketing commitments. Don John in the theaters, 24.4, just shy of the goal. Yeah, a little short there. But are these failures? Well, I guess purely from a business standpoint, it could be construed as failures if some of these films were the only product. But, the Weinstein Company, for example, I'm pretty sure The Details wasn't their only film in 2011. And while they did spend almost $18 million to acquire it, and only made back $63,000 in, popcorn sales, it's not a total loss. Because, of course, you're still dealing with, you got rights, you got marketing, you can do some merchandising stuff out of that. You can, there's still ways to make it. And don't forget, too, that a lot of these big corporations, these film moguls, need, a commercial.
I hate flying. The lines, the crowds, the delays.
I always kind of liked it. 6 hours, one seat, nobody can get to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard our non-stop service from New York to London.
You fly much?
All the time, actually. Someone on this flight is threatening to kill someone every 20 minutes. unless $150 million is transferred to this account number.
We're midway across the Atlantic. How do you kill someone in a crowded plane and get away with it?
Ladies and gentlemen, I need every passenger to raise their hands above their head.
This is a bad idea.
Marshal, we have a right to know what the hell is going on.
Agent Marks, the account number you gave us is in your name.
What? That doesn't make any sense. This is a setup. Something else is going on.
And Interpol are confirming reports that an international flight has been hijacked by an air marshal.
Agent Marks, our fighter escort has you in their sights. Do you hear me?
We're running out of time. Do you hear me? I'm not hijacking this plane. I'm trying to save it.
And welcome back to the second segment of Film 101, this happy, wonderful film day at HTLA. You are listening to HTLA at Radio 1 New York, and right now, 41 degrees, Central Park, a little overcast, warming up a bit. That I can live with. Minus 40, I can't. There you go. That's straight from the old Chris Crash Jesus Taylor's mouth right there. We are talking about Sundance today. Yes, we are. We just covered, actually, some interesting little tidbits and facts. And most recently, just before we went for the break, we were talking about the films sold for the most money versus box office on these film festival acquisitions from 2010 to, well, last year. And, yes, so make no mistake, companies like the Weinstein Company, while they may not have done so great on The Details movie of 2011, earning $63,000, they, certainly have made bank on many, many, many other projects for that production year. And, of course, don't forget the old, damn, we need write-offs. Yeah. A lot of these acquisitions are purchased just for that. Bet you didn't know that. They need write-offs to offset other things so that they're not taxed to death. That's the official word. Well, let's look some other little tidbits here. What else we got here for Sundance last 5 years? Well, there's the U.S. theatrical box office performance of opening night films. Could look back at 2010 for Howl. That opening night performance gained $617,000. It's not bad. Yeah, it's a good number. 2011. What did that see? Well, Project Nim. $411,000. That's not too bad. Now, in 2012, there was a number of offerings, features, 4 of them to be exact, starting off with Searching for Sugarman. Very good film. And on its first night, $3.9 million. Not too bad at all. Hello, I Must Be Going was another film from 2012, which earned $100,000 on its first night, $106,000. The Queen of Versailles in 2012. $2.4 million its opening night. And Wish You Were Here. Ah, yes. Love that one. No, I don't. And neither did anybody else at $41,000 for its opening night. No, not too much. But at least that got something, because in 2013, Who is Danny Cristal? Its opening night banked $0. Yes. They probably had problems pronouncing the name and thought, wait a minute, we don't care who this person is anyway. Yeah, that didn't do too well. But Crystal Fairy earned $195,000 on its first night in 2013. And who could forget this one? 20 Feet from Stardom. A whopping $4.8 million its opening night. Also, another film from 2013, May in the Summer, is actually in that bracket for being purchased up and ready to go to the box office. But, of course, the release is planned for early 2014, so no numbers on that one yet. And speaking of 2014, yes, how about that commercial, huh? Liam Neeson's new one, Non-Stop. I'm going to make sure you check that one out. That looks pretty exciting. I'm excited. Well, let's look at some other kind of numbers that relate and pertain to Sundance as a festival. Let's look at kind of a bigger global picture, shall we? How about the number of countries that are represented at the Sundance Film Festival in each year from 2010 to today? This might be interesting, or maybe not. But starting off in 2010, 36 countries were represented in those films. In those feature films. Yes, they were. And the shorts, too. This does include them. 36 countries from around the world participating in the Sundance Film Festival in 2010. 2011 saw that number drop a good chunk, down to 29. Rose again by 1 in 2012 to 30. Rose again by 2 in 2013 at 32 countries represented. And now this year we're seeing a nice little healthy jump again, back up to pretty much an all-time high of 37 countries represented. So there you go. It's a melting pot of film and digital stuff. There it is. Now, let's see how the international community plays out versus the U.S. film community. From 2010 right through to 2014, international entries for feature film competition. There was 1,804 of them. And U.S. entries for feature film competition in 2010, there was 1,920. So pretty balanced there. One country versus all the rest, and pretty close numbers. Well, those numbers continue to stay close right throughout 2011, 12, 13, and 14. Again, a steady increase on both sides. Maxing out, of course, at 2014, where we see 2,043 international entries for film competition versus the U.S. offering of 2,014. So just slightly less there. And, yeah. Now, let's talk some distribution, shall we? The number of films that got distribution deals via La Sundance. This is actually pretty decent. Wasn't so much in 2010. There was 12 films that actually saw distribution deals from that lovely film festival. Staggering, I would say, would be the increase in 2011. 45 feature films saw distribution deals in 2011. In 2012, it almost doubled again, up to 73. And last year saw 75 total feature films that got distribution deals via Sundance. And the networking and acquisition joy that goes on there, and film festivals all over the world. Yes. Number of films that were world premieres. Okay. There's 82 of them in 2010, of which only 12 got distribution deals. 92 in 2011, 91 in 2012, and 103 in 2013. Number slightly less this year at 97. It's the number of films that are world premieres. 97 of them this year at Sundance. Now, here's something else, gang. And something that, you know, if you're a Film 101 listener, you know all too well that this is all about the independent, but more so about first-time filmmakers. You know, trying to help you do it right instead of wrong, which is what most of you do. Well, in 2010, the number of first-time filmmakers that showed at Sundance was 44. Pretty healthy number. In 2011, it dropped slightly to 40. In 2012, it increased to 45. In 2013, we saw it increase further to 51. And this year, we have a total of 54 first-time filmmakers with entries successfully at Sundance. Now, what does this mean to Utah, and what does it mean to Mr. Newman? What does it all mean? What's the attendance like? There's some tourism attached to this event and a bunch of other things. What was the attendance like between 2010 and now? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. In 2010, the festival saw 41,221 in attendance. In 2011, that number increased 4,000 or so, up to 45,797. In 2012, 46,731. And in 2013, a slight decline at 45,947. What does this all mean to the great state of Utah? Well, I'm glad you asked that too, because I've got that for you. In 2010, it meant a $62,782,000 boom. In 2011, that number rose a good chunk to $70,866,000. In 2012, a further increase of about another $10 million to $80,255,000. And in 2013, strangely now, a decline back down to $69,547. What was all the hubbub about in 2012? Well, to answer the question, not really a whole lot. There's actually more films this year. Certainly more critical acclaim to some of the films this year. I don't know why, but we'll get to that. But overall, according to the study's findings, there are some good things and bad things going on in independent film. Money is being exchanged in independent film. It's always good. About as much as in Hollywood. However, the number of films being invested in is much higher in the indie sphere. Now, at first thought, that's, well, duh. We don't have the $220 million to throw into our pick like they do. So we're making better use of the funds. We're, as independents, there's a lot more things that we need to consider that the big studios don't need to consider. And not the least of which is, creative and story rights and the actual writing of it. Because, of course, they have teams of writers that take care of all that for them, don't they? Well, you and I are stuck with, either writing a script ourselves or going and finding a good one out there that we can turn into something awesome. It's a little more daunting. Well, it can be seen as a positive or a negative depending on how you see it. More films being financed means money is more thinly spread, but more films being financed means more films. Upside, downside. And with less than 2% of investments being recouped, it appears that investments may not be being made wisely. Unless, of course, it's kind of like the big studios who need the write-offs at tax time. There are, of course, independently wealthy or businessmen and entrepreneurs out there who have cash loads to dump into ventures like this. Usually those men are successful because they see high returns on their investments. But, like any good corporation, sometimes those entrepreneurs need to take advantage of some tax shelters themselves, don't they? So, it's a good source to keep independent film moving, definitely. Excuse me. But with that low recoup, do you always want to lose your money? No, of course not. Do you always want to be involved in a dog of a film? Nope. You don't. Nope. With solid distribution... Yes, that's my Russian. With solid distribution plans hatched in advance, like I tell all my filmmaking people, every single film project, you got to think of it as a business, because it is. Every title, every story, every script, every film is a business. And every business needs a good business plan. So, one of the things that I really stress to all my filmmaking friends out there is make sure you've done your homework, you know what you're doing, you have a solid business plan to go with that film, because your investors are going to want to know what happens afterwards. And with 2% of investments being actually recouped, if you've got a solid plan to get your film distributed after the fact, and you've got a solid marketing plan, and you've got solid merchandising in place, and you've got all your T's crossed and your I's dotted, and you've got your stuff trademarked and you're good to go, you understand the business of filmmaking. So not the technical, no, not the creative, the business of filmmaking, where you actually make money, then you're probably going to have a lot better and a lot easier time securing investors for your next big thing. Yeah, so have those solid distribution plans laid out well in advance. As well, more and more filmmakers are being dedicated to producing better films. Leipzig believes the money hemorrhaging would begin to lessen. So, yeah, well, of course it would, wouldn't it? Better films. And now it comes to that happy little time in the show where we have to actually look at the lineup for this year. I was hoping not to have to do this, but unfortunately I do. Yeah. Well, looking from A to Z in all categories, the first film we're faced with is 130919. Yes. Yeah. 130919. Yeah, that's the title. A Portrait of Marina Abramovic. I think I said that right, but if not, it's okay. It's an artsy film. This one-take 3D film, yes, majestically documents legendary performance artist Marina Abramovic. And it captures the breadth of space in infinite detail, the life of an artist, her keen sense of transition, a space's decay, and the ripeness of rebirth. So make sure you firmly staple gun your beret and your cigarette holder to your face and head to check out that one. Also, another one that grabbed my attention right away, I guess it was because of Two Girls in One Cup, is Two Girls in One Cake. Now, I don't know if it's starring the same two girls from Two Girls in One Cup, if this is indeed an official sequel. I'm kidding, of course it's not. This is a Danish film with English subtitles, and it's 13 minutes long. Yeah, it's two girls, one cake. It's a nice red cake. Yeah. Two girls reunite after a traumatic near-death experience which occurs in 10 central minutes of 24-year-old Julie's life. She stands face-to-face with unbearable injustice. Yeah, I'm thinking that's another Beret film. Then we're looking at 20,000 Days on Earth. Huh? Jeez, 20,000 days. That's a wacky, wild kind of number. It's about a guy named Nick Cave. Has long been one of the most fascinating and enigmatic figures in the music and film world. 20,000 Days on Earth enhances his mystique. Yes, keep him more mysterious so we still don't know anything. This innovative drama documentary features Cave as both subject and co-conspirator, intimately documenting his artistic process and combining it with a fictional commercial. We'll be right back.
Lifts to clear obstacles. Lowers to cut drag. Rises to every challenge. The class exclusive air suspension in the new 2013 Ram 1500. Engineered to move heaven and earth. Guts, glory, Ram.
What can I get you all today? Sea salt and vinegar, smart pop butter.
I'll take caramel with a side of white cheddar.
And for you, sweetie.
The special?
Lime and salt it is.
You guys ever get tired of just eating popcorn? Because I know I never would.
Awkward. Discover all 18 flavors of Orville Redenbacher's gourmet popcorn. Simply made, passionately created.
Have I got a treat for you? New clean whipped cream foundation from CoverGirl. A delicious new recipe whipped up by Clean Makeup. They took their clean, fresh foundation, added a dash of hydration, then whipped it to smooth, matte perfection. Finally, a non-drying whip that wears like a dream. What a treat from Clean. New clean whipped cream from easy, breezy, beautiful CoverGirl.
I live for the applause, applause, applause. I live for the applause, applause, live for the applause, applause, live for the way that you chill and scream for me. The applause, applause, applause. You may not see it alone, but you feel it make a turn. You may not see it alone.
Just Dance 2014. Stay in, go all out.
HTLA Radio 1.
And you are back with Chris Crash Jesus Taylor here at Film 101 on HTLA Radio 1 New York. Still holding at a nice 41 degrees in Central Park. No rain, no frozen death, no nothing horrible. Everything's just fine and pretty calm. So you are listening to Film 101 in our Sundance Spectacular. Yes. Well, okay. It's a show with a lot of stuff about Sundance in it. How's that? Better? All right. I thought so too. Yeah. So, we were just talking about 20,000 Days on Earth there. I was just informed that it's 54.7 years, I believe. The innovative drama documentary features Cave as both subject and co-conspirator, ultimately documenting his artistic process and combining it with a fictional staged narrative of his 20,000th day on the planet Earth. Yes, directed by Ian Forsyth and Jane Pollard. Yes, there it is. Oh, and music composed by Nick Cave, as well as Warren Ellis. There you go. What's my Crash's take on this one? I'm going to say, yeah, firmly affix that beret to the wooden head with staple gun. Yes. Next film we'll be looking at is something called 52 Tuesdays. I wonder how many years that works out to. 114 minutes long feature from Australia. A dramatic feature. 16-year-old Billy is blindsided by the news that her mother is planning to transition from female to male. And that during this time, Billy will live at her father's house, or who she thinks is her father, who's really some vagina wearing something else. No, I'm just kidding. Billy and her mother have always been extremely close, so the two make an agreement that they will meet every Tuesday during their year apart. Oh, well, there you go. That's 52 Tuesdays, huh? Ha ha! Yes, director Sophie Hyde. Yes, the Sophie Hyde story. It's the adaptation, the screenplay is. And, yeah, not anything too much else noteworthy on that one. All right, so there you go. Big transgender film. Yeah, well, we knew that was coming. But I'll bet you didn't see this coming, gang. That's right, Afronauts. Check this out. 13 minutes short, black and white. It's in the shorts competition this year. Yes, it is. It's July 16th, 1969. Ah, yes. Can you picture it? Yeah. Back in the good old days, NASA getting ready to launch the Apollo 11. Well, I'll bet you didn't know, because I sure didn't. Thousands of miles away, the Zambia Space Academy... Sorry. The Zambia Space Academy hopes to beat America to the moon in this film, inspired by true events. And I'm thinking that the quotation of inspired by true events must mean that the true event would have been Apollo 11, because the Zambia Space Academy, to my historical knowledge, was A, non-existent, B, never anywhere near any kind of a race with the Americans. Yeah. Okay. Well, there it is. There it is. I don't even think you need your beret for this one. If you really wanted to enjoy it, though, you might want to trade the cigarette in for some good Jamaican or Thai stick. Yeah. And then you should be primed up enough to see the next pick here. Yes, Alive Inside. A story of music and memory. Yes, as dementia continues to affect millions of elderly Americans, Alive Inside, a story of music and memory, reveals a remarkable music-based breakthrough that has transformed these old folks into, contributing members of society again. Yeah, you just crank a little Led Zeppelin in them and they just perk right up. Yeah. Yeah, there it is. Well, let's move on to something that might be somewhat interesting. Let's look at a 98-minute feature in color, U.S. documentary category, All the Beautiful Things. All the Beautiful Things describes the palpable and uniquely portrayed real-life experience of two men seeking to repair their lifelong but fractured bond. Looking to move beyond their individual and shared histories of domestic violence, poverty, and racism, each seeks revenge. No, it's not a revenge film. Each seeks redemption and solace. Yes, now you're like, where the hell do you get revenge in that, you sick bastard? Well, yeah, okay, sorry, I screwed up. Yeah, so this could be good, I think it could be. And it's from another one of those first-time filmmakers. John Harkrider. This is his first film. And he's a good up-and-comer. He's a good bet. In fact, this is probably... This film, I think this is going to be my first official Film 101 hot pick for Sundance this year. All the Beautiful Things. I'm going to call that. Yeah. Yeah. It looks to me like there's some actual quality and substance here, and you can quote me on that. Let's see what else we got here. Allergy to Originality. Yes. It's a 4-minute short in color. It's a humorous animated op-doc exploring the rich history of adaptation, plagiarism, and other forms of appropriation in art. Yeah, Drew Christie is the director. Drew is an animator, illustrator, filmmaker, and artist. His work has been featured in the New York Times, The Atlantic, The Huffington Post, Drawn, and Cartoon Brew, among other places. And he brings us this 4-minute short that is, hey, look on the bright side. If it's not good, it's only 4 minutes long. It's okay. We can get through that. Now, let's see. What else we got here? Appropriate behavior. English and Farsi with English subtitles, 82 minutes long, color, USA, United Kingdom. For Shirin, being part of a perfect Persian family isn't easy. Well, no, I imagine it probably isn't. Acceptance eludes her from all sides. Her family doesn't know she's bisexual, and her ex-girlfriend Maxine can't understand why she doesn't tell them. Well, she might be killed. That might be holding her back. Just a guess. Even the 6-year-old boys in her movie-making class are too ADD to focus on her for more than a second. I'm going to call this Crash's Yawner. Yeah, not a whole lot going on there, I don't think. However, there is hope on the horizon. Yes, there is. With another film entitled The Babadook. 95-minute feature from Australia. Question, do you want to die? 7-year-old Samuel asked his stressed-out single mother, Amelia. She wonders if his question is a threat or a warning. After dealing with Samuel's frantic tantrums his entire life, Amelia suspects that her son has begun directing his violent misbehavior towards her. Yes. However, yes, I can read. See, this is why I'm a filmmaker. I can't read. However, after a dark and foreboding children's book called Mr. Babadook mysteriously appears on Samuel's bookshelf, Amelia must decide if her son is truly deranged or if there really is a boogeyman lurking in the darkened halls at night. Huh? Okay, see, now here's something. Here's something I can get into. Right on. It might even be entertaining in the entertainment industry. Wow. Jennifer Kent is the director. She graduated from the National Institute of Dramatic Art as an actor and has, there you go. Actor first, people. There you go. See, look at this. You get an actor, and you do the director, and you got what? You got quality. Storytelling, entertainment, it's all right here. Isn't that cool? Now, Jennifer worked extensively in theater, film, and television in Australia. In 2002, she undertook a directing role with Lars von Trier on Dogville. Trier, yes, that's right. Starring Nicole Kidman. She's since been writing and developing her own film projects. Kent's award-winning short film Monster screened at more than 40 international film festivals. Psychological thriller The Babadook is her debut feature as writer/director. There you go. Yeah. See, there is good stuff. You just gotta look and listen to me. Damn it. Yes. So, The Babadook. Let's see what else we got here. What else do we got here? We got all kinds of stuff here. This is a good thing. If you haven't gone to Sundance, you should go. And if not this year, try for next, because it's awesome. What do we got? We got The Battered Bastards of Baseball. 80 minutes, feature, color, USA, documentary. Chapman and McLean Way's energetic telling of one baseball's great. Unheralded Stories is much about the independent spirit as it is about the game. When Portland, Oregon lost its longtime minor league affiliate, Bing Russell, who briefly played ball professionally before enjoying a successful Hollywood acting career, bought the territory and formed a single-A team to operate outside the confines of Major League Baseball. When they took to the field in '73, the Mavericks, the only independent team in America, started with 2 strikes against them. What did Deputy Clem from Bonanza know about baseball? Or Portland, for that matter? The only thing uniting his players recruited at open tryouts was that no other team wanted them. Skeptics agreed that it could never work. And really, if you're a league with one team in it, you always win, don't you? Kind of curious there. No? Okay. Well, that's there too. Let's see. I could go on for hours with all these different titles and all this stuff, but come on. What else is out there that looks interesting? Well, let's think story. What's a good story? Ooh, here's one that might be good. Blind, a Norwegian. Yes, feature film, 96 minutes, color, Norway, Netherlands, world dramatic. Having recently lost her sight, Ingrid retreats to the safety of her home, a place where she can feel in control along with her husband and her thoughts. After a while, Ingrid starts to feel the presence of her husband in the flat when he is supposed to be at work. At the same time, her lonely neighbor, who has grown tired of even the most extreme pornography, shifts his attention to a woman across the street. Ooh. Ingrid knows about this, but her real problems lie within, not beyond the walls of her apartment, and her deepest fears are repressed fantasies, and they soon take over. It could be really good, or it could be really bad. I'm gonna go with that. So, Blind, 50-50. It's up in the air. See it? Don't see it. You're probably good either way. Yeah. So come on. Where's the next big thing? All right, come on. There's got to be something awesome here somewhere in the throes of everything here. What do we got here? Camp X-Ray. Okay. 117 minutes, color, USA dramatic feature. A young woman joins the military to be part of something bigger than herself and her small-town roots. Instead, she ends up at a new guard as a new guard at Guantanamo Bay, where her mission is far from black and white. Surrounded by hostile jihadists and aggressive squad mates, she strikes up an unusual friendship with one of the detainees. As two people on opposite sides of war, they struggle to find their way through the ethical quagmire of Guantanamo Bay. In the process, they form an unlikely bond that changes them both. Could be interesting. Peter Sattler is the director. Raised in Indiana, Peter Sattler studied film at the North Carolina School of the Arts, where his thesis film, Newton, was nominated for a Student Academy Award. He's worked as an artist and a screenwriter in Los Angeles for the past 10 years. Camp X-Ray is his first feature film. Well, just kind of looking at that whole package right there at a glance, I'd say that might be worth watching. You never know. Could suck. But I'm not going to give it the 50-50. I'm going to say about a 70-30 on that. I'm thinking it actually could be something. And, well, what else do we got? We've got tons of films. It's a film festival. Yes, I know, I'm awake. And really, there are so many other films here to look at. I'm not going to go through them all. But certainly, you're going to get good, you're going to get bad, you're going to get entertaining, and you're going to get, well, probably a lot of funny too. Now, what about the panels and the conversations at film festivals? What about those? Well, we've prepared a little guide for you about that. Yes, we have. So we got a little guide for the 2014 festival panels and conversations of note at Sundance this year. We'll get to that right after the break, gang. Be right back.
This is quarterback. I have a situation. Somebody tried to kill me.
Jack, is work okay?
Yeah. You know, you sold this as an office job. Why don't you sit down? Now talk me through your very scary scenario. Keep in mind, I don't have your PhD.
Tokyo, London, the United States. It's gonna be a wipeout. We'll never see it coming.
You're not just an analyst anymore. You're operational now.
Jack?
I have to go to Moscow.
Why don't you want me to come?
Because I'm gonna be working the whole time.
They play rough over there, Jack. Victor Cherevin is unpredictable.
You Americans like to think of yourselves as direct. Perhaps you are just rude.
Perhaps you're just touchy. Jack, you got another problem.
What are you doing here?
You lied to me for 3 years. Somebody
Come
you
on,
were in
of
the
course
seat.
not. Can we have a minute, please?
No. This is geopolitics, not couples therapy.
Partnerships are delicate, Mr. Ryan. Sometimes they end violently.
What the hell is going on here?
Sometimes the ones closest to us are the ones we should trust the least. We all have our secrets.
You think this is game, Jack?
They will bring us to our knees without even firing a shot.
There's a very real scenario here where we don't get out of this alive.
We are compromised.
If you find the truth, will you believe it?
Oh, my God.
And there you go. Can you believe that? I don't know. Well, welcome back to Film 101. Your host, Christopher John Taylor, Crash Jesus, a.k.a. And we are doing a Sundance Special because it opens up tomorrow in Utah. That's right, boy. Utah. And Sundance is one of the more well-known film festivals worldwide, and started by our own Paul Newman. Yes. No, it wasn't, you idiot. Robert Redford. Yes, grab a brain. Paul Newman was the salad dressing guy. Badumcha! There we go. Well, part of the Sundance Film Festival, of course, is the culture of conversation. We cultivate around the films in the program, talk to the filmmakers, to discuss documentary subjects, actors, and artists. And it's through those interactions that the films really come off the screen and audiences can engage with people directly who make them. The program's generally broken up into different strands, and while some information appears in print for the most up-to-date picture of what's happening, you'd probably be best to go and actually check out the festival. Do that by going to www.sundance.org/festival. That would be where I'd start. The Power of Story. Since its inauguration 3 years ago, the Power of Story series, presented by Time Warner Foundation, exists to deepen public engagement with storytelling, ideas, and the artistic process. While we've often talked about the impact of films, this year the Power of Story weights and measures, Saturday the 18th of January at 3 p.m. actually, takes a step back and asks what the actual power of a story is. What are the different ways we can talk about impact? It's a group that brings a breadth of experience. Dave Izay, founder of StoryCorp, Academy Award-winning filmmaker of The Cove, Louis Filiois, say that 5 times fast, who will offer a glimpse of his new project, The Heist. BritDoc CEO Jess Search, Paul Zak, who studies the neuroscience of storytelling. Yes, the neuroscience of storytelling. There you go, see? You didn't even know it was brain science, did you? No. And a moderator, of course, Darren Walker, president of the Ford Foundation. Yes, where quality is job one. Yes, and if anybody knows film, that would be Ford. Oh, wait, no, that's why he's a moderator. Never mind. I'm getting a little beside or ahead of myself. Or around somewhere. Yeah. And at the tail end of the festival, The Power of Story, the class of 94. It's going to be coming up on January 24th at 3 p.m. We look back. What was not only a pretty amazing year of films and filmmakers, but one that sharply accented the diversity that was coming out of the budding independent film movement. So they're reuniting some of class members like Greg Araki, Kevin Smith, Rose Trock, Bose Yakin, and moderator John Cooper for extraordinary stories about an extraordinary year. Let's see what else we got. Free Fail. Free Fail as a counterintuitive way of celebrating the 30th anniversary of the festival, which it is this year. John Cooper came up with a program called Free Fail. A full day of interactive activities in which artists and cultural luminaries explore failure as a catalyst for both growth and a fundamental part of the creative process. The centerpiece panel, Exploratory Detours, stems from author, scholar, and curator Sarah Lewis. Her upcoming book, and you're going to love this title, The Rise, Creativity, the Gift of Failure, and the Search for Mastery. That's a title. Man, that's half the book, isn't it? Yes, The Rise, Creativity, the Gift of Failure, and the Search for Mastery. Well, this book explores an enduring enigma of the human experience, so that many iconic endeavors, from Nobel Prize-winning discoveries to the entrepreneurial inventions and works in the arts, are not achievements, but conversions and corrections after failed attempts. With a group that includes Sundance founder Robert Redford, a.k.a. Paul Newman, salad dressing guy, neuroscientist and musician Dr. Charles Lim, writer-director Jill Soloway, wrote 6 Feet Under, Afternoon Delight, and the president of Open Society Foundation's Christopher Stone. She looks at the irreplaceable gifts that come from failure in creative endeavors. Several other panels that day take up themes around the willingness to take risks and wrong turns, including the beauty of failure at New Frontier. That afternoon, you'll also find the Fail-Safe Workshops, a series of one-hour masterclasses, like the Rockettes teaching you how to high kick, for example. Or the co-founder of Instagram teaching you how to take the worst picture ever. Well, they require you to check your ego at the door and remember that everyone fails every day, including yours truly, right now. Help me. And then my favorite, the Cinema Cafe. Well, there's no better way to start off the day than with coffee, right? Well, yes, there is. It's with free coffee and free pastries. And yes, free stimulating conversation. Every morning during the festival at 10 a.m. in the Filmmaker Lounge, the Cinema Cafe, presented by Chase Sapphire, yes, provides casual conversations around the work in the program. Amongst the group passing through this year, Joe Berlinger, Mark Duplass, Gareth Evans, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Rory Kennedy, William H. Macy, Leonard Maltin, Stanley Nelson, John Slattery, Ann Thompson, and Adam Wingard. Let's see what else about this. There is a highlight. Saturday morning, they welcome a group of actors whose breakout performances in this year's program will undoubtedly turn heads. The trip to Italy involves frequent collaborators Steve Coogan, Rob Brydon, and Michael Winterbottom. In conversation Tuesday morning with an early start time at 9:45 a.m., and acclaimed director Lenny Abramson, Frank, and Powell Pawlikowski, yes, Pawlikowski, appear in conversation together Wednesday morning. What's going on up at the old lodge? Yeah, you gotta be in with all these terms. What's going on at the old lodge? Well, at the lodge this year, the Filmmaker Lodge panels are every afternoon, and they explore the issues and ideas emerging from films. For example, Sunday afternoon, we look at the passionate pursuit of international justice with Louis Moreno, prosecutor of the International Criminal Court and subject of Watchers of the Sky and Human Rights Watch. Anna Nistat and Oli Slovang, subjects of E-Team. Other panels explore how humans construct truth and how the truths are mediated, the formal inventiveness of doc fiction hybrids, the tension between tradition and modernity, and the crazy number of films about familial relationships, and indeed transsexual operations. Well, at least one film anyway. Ooh, here's something. What's this? Our annual look at science in film with a group of scientists and filmmakers this year explores Cosmic Crossroads. Ooh, this is one I might check out. Tuesday, January 21st, the fascination we have with space. And on Wednesday, we throw out the rules with This Is Not a Panel, a show and tell in which we asked Michael Tully, Ping Pong Summer, Alex Ross Perry, Listen Up Philip, and Jenny Slate, Obvious Child, and David Zellner, yes, to bring these objects that fuel their creativity and passion. And of course, we close out the festival with its best-kept secret panel, Film Church, with John Cooper and Trevor Groth, with a recap of the 10 days and a coach full of surprise guests. Yes. So don't forget to be missing that one, or not to be missing that one. Yeah, there you go. What do we got for the New Frontier? We make the last stop at New Frontier for conversations about innovations in film, technology, and art, like artist/filmmaker Chris Milk, Sound and Vision and Arcade Fire. He'll be discussing interactive storytelling in the story world, creating interactive experiences that work, a look at measuring impact. And Aaron Coblin from Google in a conversation with Doug Aitken about The Source. Okay. Well, if that doesn't ring your Sundance bell, I don't know what will. What the hell will? Jeez. What? Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of your general overview. Again, if you want more information, if you want to check out all the other films I haven't mentioned on this show, be sure to whip on over to sundance.org/festival. For that Sundance Film Festival thing. Yeah. The festival actually is from January 16th to the 26th, 10 rolling days in Park City, Utah. For all the information and tickets and all that good stuff, and attend and watch and stories, and there's all kinds of trailers up there too. So be sure you check that out, because that's worth checking out. Otherwise, I wouldn't tell you. And that pretty much breaks down your basic Sundance guide there. I hope you've enjoyed that. Now, I've got a couple of more things that I want to cover with you this evening. I'm going to give you 10 film industry predictions for 2014. Might be kind of interesting for you to stick around there. And also, finding money. Yes, pitching investors, building relationships, being smart with taxes, and Section 181. Yeah. So let's take a quick little look here at the 10 film industry predictions for 2014. As is customary at the beginning of every new year, of course, we ask ourselves, how will this year be any different? What will change? What will stay the same? As filmmakers, I'm sure most of us are asking these questions about the film industry, perhaps even making assertions and predictions about what we'll be seeing in cinema in 2014. Well, founder of Subgenre Media, Brian Newman, does the same. And here are his 10 predictions about the 2014 film industry. Number 1, this will be a deciding year in the film tech space. Yeah, well, I knew it was coming. So did you. Come on. We've got a lot of platforms in this space. Vimeo, VHX, Reelhouse, Fandor, IndieFlix, Snag, Mubi, Distrify. The list of platforms is long, and I didn't even mention the gorillas in that room. We've also got lots of competition in the discovery arena. Movie Pilot, Letterboxd, Seen That, and Flicklist, which I'm still struggling to launch. Then we've got the tools like Assemble, MoviePass, Topspin, Tug, Slated, Seed and Spark, and more, all helping with various aspects of the film business. I won't even begin to list the numerous online news and review sites. I don't see many of these companies existing in 2015. I think 2014 will be the year where we figure out who is going to grow up and own this space, or these spaces these companies represent, a lot of different business models. My money is on Reelhouse at the moment. They've just launched a partnership with Warner Brothers that is pretty interesting. If they can navigate the waters and merge indie, art house, and studio discovery, viewing engagement rights, they could own this space, but there's an equally good chance that someone new will launch and eclipse all of these guys, or that Facebook just launches better versions of their services by close of the year. Interesting. All right, he goes on to number 2. Branded content explodes. He says, I hate every word I just typed, but it's better shorthand than smart. Smart companies with powerful relationships with their consumers/fans will realize that they can and should make smart films and other video content to better engage with them. And it will expand dramatically this year. I am biased as one of my clients is in this space, but 2 non-clients are doing it best now, Red Bull and ESPN. I think we'll see many more doing it soon, and indie filmmakers should watch and learn and debate what indie means, because many of these companies will want to work with you soon. That's kind of optimistic, isn't it? Yes, I like that. Number 3, he says, data finally taken seriously in this space. I remember roughly 5 years ago when Lance Wheeler told a crowd at Sundance that data was the new oil. Everyone ignored him. I, too, have been preaching this for quite some time, and now everyone has woken up and is exploring data in the film world. I'm consulting on one project in this space, and I know of many others. I expect we will see several amazing data projects in the film world this year, and we'll learn what more we could know as a result. Meaning 2015, we'll see some longitudinal studies and more people opening up their data as they see value in sharing it. All right. Interesting. Number 4, changing of the guard. We've just seen 3 or 4 major institutions in the film world lose their leadership for various reasons. There will be some new leaders announced, but I think we'll also see more shakeups at a few more. I don't have any feelings good or bad about the changes, but I'm excited to see who takes the reins at these institutions and what next steps they will or won't make. Number 5, direct distribution backlash. I'm already sensing this on the festival circuit, and I think it will become a more open topic of conversation. 2014 will be the year where everyone starts to do direct distribution. Many will think I'm crazy for saying this in a world of unlimited new tools to reach your fans and distribute your film right to them. How can I make this prediction? Because it's hard work. It doesn't often pay off better than going to a distributor. It's a tough business, whether you do it yourself or go at it with partners. Not everyone has the stomach for it, and everyone is starting to realize it works well for certain types of films, but not every film. I am not saying direct distribution will die or that certain filmmakers shouldn't try it. I'm also sure we'll see at least one project a month that nails it, does it right, and makes bank, but many people are starting to realize that we've gotten rid of the middlemen here. We're just made more of them aggregators, bookers, marketers, etc., and that sometimes you just want to make the next movie instead of becoming a carny for 18 months. Interesting point. We're going to go for a commercial. We'll be back in 2 minutes, and we'll give you the other 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, Crunch
As a young buck, I thought I'd make history. Great men don't take dives for a couple $100.
I'll give you $700.
11.
6.
8.
Deal.
Great men don't miss their fate. I missed mine, Francie. I missed it. You wanted to know when I was ready to go back to work. Well, I'm ready. First thing you need is an idea, man, and ours was Nicky, my half-brother. Now there's Patty McCarthy. He's the guy who knows any guy you need to know. And Guy DeCorne is our forger. And you are who? He's my apprentice. So you're a wizard now. I'm the best damn wheelman around. Okay, great. We're all here. Something's not right.
They all just happen to converge in the city where Crunch lives? Sir, I'm telling you, it's happening.
This is the one we're all gonna be remembered for.
The greatest outlift in history. This is where the story becomes interesting.
It's the most valuable book in the world. The Gutenberg Bible, the Mona Lisa of books. This is so beautiful.
Here's your weaker maiden.
We swapped out for a fake. No one's gonna know it's missing. Gotta make a bundle. Try 20 million.
I want the 30 grand.
What are you, a pirate?
You got the money?
Go.
I'm sorry for hitting you with a lead pipe.
Nylons. Fishnets?
Yes.
Put these over our heads, we'll take a couple of waffles. We're gonna need something that draws attention. It's like it follows you. What the hell am I looking at? Are we ready to do this? Let's roll! Fortune favors the bold. But every now and then, you gotta take a leap of faith. Anything to declare?
Do you think I have smugglers in my trunk? Please, see all the criminal activity happening in my trunk right now.
Yeah, there you go. You are listening to HTLA Radio 1 New York. Yes. And our lovely Film Wednesdays with this edition of Film 101. I am the host of Film 101, Christopher John Taylor. And, we're doing a Sundance blowout. Just before the break, however, we were talking about 10 film industry predictions for 2014 from the man himself, subgenre media founder Brian Newman. Yes. So we've gone over the first 5 before the break, and now let's move on to number 6. That said, which was, of course, direct distribution backlash, number 5. Direct distribution will make some a millionaire this year. Who will it be? Or someone. Yes. Words are good. Direct distribution will make someone a millionaire this year. Who will it be? Probably a film to be discovered at Sundance in January. We shall see. Okay, good prediction. Yep, right on. Number 7, distributor shakeout. There's too many players in the space, in the documentary world especially. It's leading to unsustainable prices being paid to acquire content. Good for filmmakers in the short term, yes, and when that money isn't made back, heads start to roll. I predict we'll see some consolidation here and several burnouts. Well, that's kind of, status quo if you ask me. I could have made that prediction 10 years ago. Pretty close to the same. Number 8, episodic content will rule. Ooh. It already does. It will explode even more this year, and my hope is that the more indies will learn from those leading in this space. 6 million subscribers is more valuable than a Film Fest laurel or even an Oscar. Remember I was talking about that business of filmmaking? There it is, right there. Number 9, online episodic creators will roll out more feature projects. As Freddie Wong has already done twice, more creators will launch feature projects, and many of them will do it through crowdfunding direct from their fans, turning those millions of followers into real gold and making the most exciting, truly independent work out there. And finally is number 10 prediction for 2014. More investors will lose money in film than ever before. Thanks to the Jobs Act and the upcoming expansion of crowdfunding and crowd investing initiatives, more people will get the chance to lose their investment on crappy film ideas with no business plan. Oh, there it is, gang. And no chance of success. It will make it harder for the rest of us with good ideas to get funding because we'll find more burned investors in the pool. So there's Brian Newman's 2014 10 visions, predictions for 2014 right there. And speaking of investors, let's quickly touch before we go. Finding money, pitching investors, building relationships, being smart with taxes, and Section 181, Finding money is often one of the toughest tasks many independent film producers face, as well as one of the most critical. You need money to make movies, and you need to make movies to build a successful career. Building relationships with investors is one big important step you can take to help find money on an ongoing basis for your projects and further your cause. Bring up the following topics, developing or a struggling producer, however, and you won't be surprised to hear the following answers. Finding money, where? Pitching investors, how? Building relationships, Yeah. Again, that film school thing helps because a lot of you struggling producers out there don't know the first job about producing. I'm reminded of one in particular film that comes to mind in which first-time director, female, she put together a heck of a great script, a great acting team, a good crew. They put together one heck of a great product. And, of course, then they pass it along to good old, film agent me to go out and get it in front of the acquisitions people. And what do I find? I find 105 copyright infringements, trademark infringements. Just the complete product was unusable. There were so many references and products and clearance that had to be gained for this film. It was completely destroyed before it even started. All why? Because her best friend was her producer, and her best friend didn't know anything about the job. Of course, it would have been her job to clear all those clearances firsthand or work around them before getting the film completely done and in the can and trying to get it out there. But what do? Live and learn, which is another reason why Film 101 is here, to hopefully stop you from falling into pitfalls like that, because that was a humdinger. All right, so there it is. Now, let's talk about, I don't know, we're in a new year, 2014. Section 181 of the tax code. Very important. Now, given the critical role of money, it is wise to make building strong, ongoing relationships with investors a key part of your thinking. You want to work with investors who will invest not just in this project, but you'd like to build that relationship so that they'll be around for the next one and the one after that as well. Investors who invest regularly in your projects are effectively investing in more than just your projects. They're also, of course, investing in you and your career and your future. Now, we're in the year 2014, and Section 181 of the tax code has expired, with questions remaining as to whether it will be renewed. What follows are some insights into that Section 181. Firstly, being smart with your taxes and Section 181. A key topic in finding money and pitching investors in today's film financing environment, and by extension building relationships with said investors, is taxes. Taxes are an increasingly important piece of a producer's overall financing plan and pitch. Being smart with taxes can help you bring valuable benefits and protections to your investors, to your project, and ultimately to you. A few quick words. Taxes can be really tricky and fraught with tripwires and unanticipated dangers. There also appears to be a good amount of misinformation regularly floating around the industry and the internet, sometimes leading to seriously misinformed decisions or producers being entirely unaware of larger issues that may come to blow up in their face. One key tax area that has commonly been part of producers' pitches to investors in recent years is known as Section 181. 181 refers to a federal tax law that pertains specifically to the motion picture industry. Being smart about 181 today should begin with a basic understanding of what 181 is, how producers have been pitching it to investors, and the basic benefits of it. The December 31st, 31/12 expiration of 181, they just recently passed there, what that means, what exceptions apply, and whether your project can utilize it. Also, the risks and potential disasters for your investors, your film, and you personally of using 181 improperly. Finding that the IRS doesn't agree with how you view the world in your Section 181 election, for example. And, of course, the extremely costly consequences that may ultimately trigger. Yes. Where do I go? Being smart with your taxes is one way to help build your relationships with your investors. You can use, being smart with, those kind of financial things, being able to show that, which of course you'd have to anyway, because the IRS wants everything, to keep the money rolling in with investors. They'll respect you all the more if you actually understand some of these things and actually work with them. Rather than against them. Yeah. So, make the indie film tax business professional one of the collaborators that are key and a regular part of your team. I'm not just saying go out and get the first, tax preparer guy at H&R Block, because that might probably not be a good idea. But if you're within circles in the industry where you have hit on good authority that this person did a great job with so-and-so's project, that's where you want to be. Word gets around and stays around, and yeah, word, brother. Fred Siegel is an indie film tax and business consultant and founder of Fred Siegel CPA, specializing in key tax and business issues for producers and content creators. The focus of his firm is working with independent filmmakers specifically in their development and production companies, film financing companies, film funds, and just generally creative folk. I will give you his contact, Fred Siegel, CPA, dealing with the business of film, consulting, financing, tax credits, taxation, accounting. You can email him at fred@fredsiegelcpa.com in New York, New York. The information is in this show is a general nature. It's not intended to address the circumstances of any particular individual or entity. Although we do endeavor to provide accurate and timely information, there can be no guarantee that this information is accurate, and so don't sue me. That's the bottom line. So there's some good tips for you. Definitely look into the 181, see how it pertains, see how it used to pertain, talk to people about how it used to work, talk to people if it's going to work again. Just keep in the know about everything, not just the latest camera coming out and the new goodies in the world of VFX. You got to keep up on everything, gang, because like I said, it is a business. And if you're thinking about working on a new film, make sure you think about working on a new film business plan. And that's going to wrap it up for me for this wonderful, absolutely wonderful Film 101 for HTLA's special edition Sundance show. Stay tuned. Coming up next, the beautiful and lovely Kate Taylor is in the wings here, waiting to come in and take over the microphones and give you this week's edition of Real Talk. Yes, it's the film review show that doesn't review film. It analyzes it all to heck and breaks it up in little pieces and puts it back together again, and she uses glue and glitter. She's got quite a scrapbooking tool case there that she's going to be putting all this. Just tune in. You're going to love the show. Anyway, for myself and HTLA Radio 1 New York, thanks for listening. We will catch you up here pretty soon with another special edition of Film 101 and director Louis Lawless. Stay tuned for that interview too coming up. And we'll catch you all next week, gang. Good night.